Hello and welcome to another episode of Glory of Golden State Gaming. I'm your host, Swamp Swimmer, and with me today, my round one opponent of the Nova Open 2025, Hayden. Hayden, how you doing, man? It's nice. Thank you so much for coming on the channel. How are you today?
Good. Happy to be here.
Excellent, excellent. Round one, we get paired into each other. I've never played you before, which is always like the best way to start a tournament is the number of players you've never played before you play in that tournament. That's like, for me, that's like the barometer of a good tournament. You are playing Warriors. Actually, let's not even get to that yet. Hold on. Let's take a step back. I ask everyone who comes on the channel, what is your Warhammer story? When did you start playing this game? What's your favorite army? Maybe what was your first army? Take it away. Let me hear it.
I got into Warhammer, I think, when I was like 11 years old. Went over to a family friend's house. Their kids were playing it in the basement. I was like, this is cool. And I got Battle for Skull Pass for Christmas that year.
And Battle for Skull Pass, love it.
I played Dwarves for a bit and also got into 40k around that time. And after Dwarves, switched to Warriors of Chaos. And then when the whole end time stuff came around, sold everything, which I regret now. And now I've basically just been building up that big Warriors of Chaos army I always really wish I could have had when I was a kid.
I hear that from so many people, that they sold their armies, not maybe out of spite, maybe out of boredom during end times. And then when the old world came roaring back, they're wish I hadn't done that.
Yeah,
I know that feeling. So you're sticking with Warriors. Warriors is your army.
I like it. I've always liked the aesthetic. They're easy enough to paint, and it's a very straightforward play style. But with there can be some nifty tricks you can do. But I really just like, hey, here's a big brick of armored guys. They're gonna just run right at you.
Yeah, I mean, there is some subtlety there, especially if you're playing at different types of lists. The thing that I love about Warriors is they've got so much variety in list building. When so many armies in this game are like, this is the net list, this is the list you bring. I feel like at least Warriors have a handful, 2, 3, maybe different kinds of lists they can take. As we'll get to in a second, you took an off-meta list, which I always appreciate. But yeah, let's get into the battle report. Okay, as I said, we got paired together in round one of the Nova Open 2025. We are using the match play pack rules. So this is upon the field of glory. On the field of glory, yes, that's the standard deployments, 12 inches and across the entire long board edge, as well as domination and strategic locations 4, so 4 strategic locations. This new strategic location and the secondary objectives are really good, but they add an extra layer of record keeping to the game, which I wasn't really expecting. At the beginning or the bottom of every half of the turn, you have to record how many points you have?
End of every player turn, you have to score, which for some of them is a ton of points. Like King of the Hill is, you can score up to 1,000 points just from the hill alone.
I know, it's crazy. I'm like, if you play all the secondary objectives and King of the Hill, you can score up thousands of points, thousands.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I mean, it's good. It's just a lot of record keeping. There's more numbers than I'm surprised how much more numbers there was in the match play pack. But anyway, I digress. Let me talk about the list I brought. This is I decided to go off meta with Beast Herds. Normally, Beast Herds are Gores, Viletide, 2 Gigantic Spawn, and then some other sprinkly stuff in there. Usually led by a Minotaur Lord. I wanted to go ambush, and I wanted to try the Bestigor block in the middle of the board. So we have a Bestigor block of 22 guys with the Beast Lord in there and the BSB Wargore. I gave him the Horn of the Great Hunt, so I'm re-rolling, and I get to give a +1 to one of my ambushers. When I drop is that big block, the Gigantic Spawn of Chaos. I had to do one of them. and then everything else ambushes. So it's a unit of, or everything else ambushes, and one Bray Shaman actually scouts and vanguards by himself. I had mixed success with this guy, but I thought he's really fun. The other Bray Shaman with Viletide is going in with the Ungors with bows. Then the 23 Gors are going with the Combat Bray Shaman, who's the level 4 on Demonology with a Giant Blade. And he's basically trying to use Giant Blade with Mantle of Gorok. I think I got it off once this tournament, so I don't know how great he is, but we'll get back to that. And then lastly, 3 Minotaurs with great weapons ambushing. I think the one thing I missed right off the bat, I realized with this list, is the 3 Minotaurs. I'm sorry, and the Herdstone. Can't forget the Herdstone. The 3 Minotaurs should have been 4 Minotaurs because they're not scoring with just 3. That was my... I didn't accurately look at all the scoring scenarios in Match Play Pack. Should have gone for 4 Minotaurs, but it's still a good list. I really enjoy the ambushing list. The point of this is to drop my stuff, let you deploy, and then turn to figure out where the rest of my guys are coming on the board. That's the plan. That's where I get my advantage from, I think. I think that's everything. Yeah, the Beast Lord is double -2 to hit with full Chaos Plate armor. The Bray Shaman, the Combat Bray Shaman has Jagged Dagger, so he can stab one of his friends for an extra +1 to cast. I think the Herdstone doesn't work perfectly with this list because I have the flexibility to come on the board in turn 2 on any side of the table, while the Herdstone has to go on one side of the table or in the middle. So in some situations where my opponent gives me the opportunity to, let's say, ambush on the right side of the board, my Herdstone might be on the left side of the board, and that doesn't quite synergize as well. I'm still working on that. Maybe I shouldn't take the Herdstone. It's so good, though. I don't know. So that's enough with my list. I'm going to jump over to Hayden's list. Please go through it with our audience, and no need to go through this line by line, but just tell me how this list functions together. Where's the combo of how this list wins? Hayden, take it away.
It's basically I've got 2 heavy-hitting, hard-to-kill chariots, which was kind of like the core idea I wanted to go with. And then it's a sorcerer, demonology in a halberd unit of warriors, because I really wanted to try to make basic Chaos Warriors work, and then a level 1 magic missile guy in a Marauder Horseman unit, and then, the typical Dragon Ogres spawn, and then some cheap Marauders for backfield objective scoring. I think I got the Demonic Vessel spells off 2 times across the 5 games. And when I did, they did their work, but with the chain casting, it's really tough, especially if you're not going for a Tzeentch build, which I think is what I'm going to be trying in the future a bit more, to try to make something with warriors work. But it's just way too, it's like a 600 point blob that they don't have stubborn. It's really easy to kill them.
Yeah, 600 points is a lot to go in one spot, and they're such a, if you don't protect them well enough, they fly off the board and then you're just losing. Yeah, Magic in 1.5 is such a, it's just as potent as it was before. It's just far less reliable. Everything's just now 2 or 3 ticks away from being reliable, which is only a certain armies, including Beastmen, which is pretty funny, really have that reliability because they have multiple ways to get +2 or +3 to cast. It's weird. I think the rest of the army should have that too, but it's interesting. Magic's in a weird spot right now, and I think this is really a key point in the game for armies with no magic to show up.
Yeah, I think there was one Chaos guy who was running Mono Khorne just for the hell of it, and I respected that a lot. But I think with some fine tuning, I think you could get away with trying to play without magic as a Chaos player.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see here. So when you first saw my list, were you thinking this is a good matchup for you or a bad matchup for you?
I've been playing against a Beastman guy a lot prior to Nova, and I was feeling, all right, I know what I'm dealing with, you know, and I was not expecting the full ambush thing, and that really threw me during deployment. And you know, I've got a lot of close order stuff, you know, and it's really easy to outmaneuver it, and that's big thing that happened in that game. I just wasn't able to get charges off that I needed. I wasn't able to chase you around the board.
Yeah, let's get into the game here and talk about deployment. Before we get into any further, as I said, I only have 3 drops. So I dropped my Bestigar block in the middle of the board, my Spawn of Chaos just slightly off to the right, and my 1 wizard is right behind the Herdstone there. And the Herdstone placement is also important. Kind of center left is where I dropped them. And then basically you responded to that. Well, tell me about your deployment.
I was definitely thinking objective play. I mean, right there you can see I've got the Marauders right there on my backfield 1. I wasn't planning on moving them much. I saw that the scouting guy had Viletide. I was like, you know, I don't want my fairly expensive Marauder Horseman casting bunker anywhere near that. And I was thinking, all right, get kind of close with an infantry unit. Maybe I can hold the special feature, which a Herdstone is, and that objective by the end of the game, rack up some points. And, you know, I think the biggest mistake was not having the chariots together. I should have tried to focus them both in the center. And yeah, no, Dragon Ogres are pretty strong, and I thought they could handle that flank on their own. And spawn.
Yeah, that's the hard decision. I think if you had put those 2 chariots together in either the center or the right or left of the board, I would have countered with ambushing away from them. Actually, no, I don't.
They're really easy to outmaneuver.
Yeah. So let's jump ahead here in the game. Turn 1, I move up. Turn 2, you move up. And then we can talk about my ambushing on top of 2. I won the turn to go first, obviously, because I had the +1. So I get relatively. Oh no! The Ungors with the 1 Viletide with the Hagtree Fetish did not come on the board. I actually gave it the +1, and I failed a 3+ with a reroll. The other 2 came on the board. So I realized the Minotaurs could show up behind your Marauders. I was thinking that was kind of a good matchup, because you're going to turn in place to face me. I'm gonna get the charge off, so I'm gonna get the impact hits. I'll be able to go for you with great weapons. I could win at least the first round of combat, and hopefully I do enough damage to make you not a scoring unit anymore. And then the other unit, which is that's the multi-wound wizard combat guy, I just put behind your chariot in the center of the board, thinking, if you turn around to face me, then I'm going to charge you, and if you don't, I'm going to go into the back of your warriors or in the back of the gigantic spawn. That was my thoughts. And that left your Marauder Horseman on the far right and that other chariot on the far right to just kind of circle around on the center if they wanted to, but effectively it took them out of a big chunk of the game. That was my thoughts.
Yeah, and then I don't know if it's super visible. The terrain feature in the center of the board was impassable terrain, which is so kind of ended up doing this whole ring around the rosy thing there, trying to, or at least I was trying to like get you. That was
Yeah, exactly. That was exactly my plan. I was trying to, that's part of like the ambushing is like put you in spots where when you need to get to where you need to be, it's a long way to get there. It's going to take you multiple turns to get there. I was successful here, which was for sure. In your turn 3, you come in with a gigantic spawn into my Bestigar block. I mean, I think I tried to Viletide it a couple times. I don't think I did any wounds to it. Maybe I did 1 or something. But on the rest of your models on the left-hand side of the board, you turn around to face my ambushers.
Yep.
And I can't remember. I won. I won the round of combat, but you did some damage against the gigantic spawn, and then my gigantic spawn went into your flank, and then at that point, I was like, okay, I got you.
Yeah, that was tough. They can't they can't handle it all.
Shockingly, I can't believe I didn't get Mantle of Gorok, but I got both Demonic Vigor and Demonic Vessel off on my Gore block, and I punked your guy on the chariot. Or did I make him break and then I ran him down? I think I killed him.
Yeah, that one of those chariots failed a lot of leadership tests over those 2 days. I will be bringing a BSB in the future.
There were some very key break checks that you took and panic checks that you took in this game that you failed that really hurt you.
Yeah, and then I think you got you did like 6 or 7 wounds with Vile Tide on the warrior unit, which was devastating. Luckily, they're immune to panic, Marcus Slanesh, but still, that takes them down a lot.
Yeah. Oh, that's why, because I overran with the Gore unit because I hit the doubles on the Primal Fury check, which made them frenzy, so I had to overrun into that spot. And you obviously took the counter charge and put me in the flank. And then I think, and then in the center, I had actually cleared out the center at this point, so I turned my big block to face the Dragon Ogres coming down my flank.
Yeah.
I actually ended up just giving ground, so I couldn't turn to face you with the Gores, which was funny. But then again, I get the counter charge with a gigantic spawn into the side of that warriors unit, and I break them. I had them right, and you had this. This is one of your failed leadership checks that was really important. I think it was on a. I didn't double outnumber you. Maybe I did. I don't remember. I don't think I did. And you whiffed on the dice.
Yeah. No, they fled off. I can't remember if they went.
They broke here. They broke here, and then you failed to rally them. That was the really painful one. And then I charged them off the board with the Ungors.
Yeah, that was it.
But on the bright side, you did win combat eventually with the Marauders against the Minotaurs, and
that was the most unbelievable part of that game, where they couldn't lose that combat. It was unbelievable. I'm always taking that block, and I'm buffing it up to like 25, so I get an extra rank now.
Is that a good list building idea? Is going full Marauders?
I've been thinking about it. Like I've got 40.
Isn't that basically Wolves of the Sea? Army of Infamy?
But Wolves of the Sea is not great.
That's true.
I'm thinking about sticking a demonic mount Mark of Tzeentch sorcerer in there. Because he counts as 6 models for purposes of ranks. Basically, bumps them up, so you could take 32, and it would basically be like you had a block of 40, and make that a magic missile bunker, and that just sits, and that's a lot of static combat res. But I don't know.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. That really isn't a bad idea. So we're getting toward the end of the game. I think it was about this point we both started thinking about domination and holding table quarters. Basically, we've both been holding the objective in our deployment zones, but now that I did enough damage to your Marauders in the center, they're no longer scoring, and then my Gore are now keeping the one on the left. I'm up on you on that, and then I realize my Bestigor block can definitely take the Dragon Ogre charge, so I just push him in your face. At this point, I realize I can't get way over to your Marauder Horseman and your Wizard there, so I just, whatever it is, what it is. Let's see here. I honestly can't remember what happens to the rest of the game. At the rest of the game, we start kind of dancing around each other. Oh, I make the long charge with the Nurgle, my gigantic spawn, into your Marauders, end up killing them. So then you get the counter charge in the gigantic spawn, and I think that's where the game ended. You hadn't killed the gigantic spawn, but you put some wounds on it.
Yes, which we later found out doesn't, in the match play format per GW's rules, you don't score any points for it. So I don't know if I don't know if I'd done enough that we would have made that mistake.
No, we scored it right because you have to
Yeah.
kill. You have to be 25% or less wound wise. So it means you need to get a monster with 6 wounds down to 1 wound to get points off of it.
No, but not even in. It's though that ruling is, I think, just for, or at least the way the TO ruled it is that was just for characters in this. So like monsters like that, even if you got them down to 1 wound, still wouldn't score you any points.
I think we played that right because I don't think I was down to less than.
I didn't score a lot
2.
of points. You still got the 6-0. So
yeah. So
but
let's jump to the results here.
Yeah.
It was a 6-0 to me. Yeah. I think I had you. I had you surprised with my tactics of the ambushing. It kind of had you on your heels for the whole game, and then that combination of like I think it was 2 or 3 leadership checks, which really didn't go your way, and that really just set the dominoes falling. I think if you had stuck on the left with your warrior unit or rallied them, it would have been maybe a 4-2 or a 5-1, maybe. But or maybe I just would have wild died the more. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. It was an interesting matchup. I really liked to see an ambushing Beastman list play like that because I haven't seen it much, and it definitely caught me off guard, and I did not. Thinking of things I could have done different, I might have just castled up a bit more early on to prevent myself from being charged. But I wrote down all the objective scores for all my games to look back on. Like I outscored you on the objectives in the first 2 turns.
Because we didn't talk about that. In turn 1, you moved up and held 3 tokens for a while.
Yeah, I scored 90. I scored 90 like 3 or 4 times to your 30, 30, 30, and I was thinking, all right, I can maybe do this, but no, after a certain point, I just wasn't able to kill things, wasn't able to get my charges, and my stuff needed to be charging to get its points.
And I think also that's why I'm really excited for this ambush list. I've already been tinkering with it and making it new. Another thing that makes it even better, exactly as you said, castling up is the way you stop the ambushers. Or not even castling up, either castling up or having a fast-moving army like Wood Elves and just covering the board edge so I can't ambush near you. But that also sacrifices you from going and scoring objectives. So it's a really hard choice for my opponent, which I really, really like, as a person who likes to play this game. Before we wrap up, first of all, Hayden, thank you so much for the game. It was really a pleasure to meet you. It was a really fun game. How are you feeling about Warhammer the Old World 1.5? I guess we're 1.5.1 right now. Are you pleased with the changes from 1.0 with all the FAQ and errata, or how are you feeling? Give me the rundown.
Other than the changes to Flails and Frenzy, I really like it. I think the community is going to needs to take a bit more time to kind of get used to these new mission packs. I don't know if you played King of the Hill in this, but I think even though the option to have a special feature on King of the Hill is in the book, I don't think anyone should ever do it, because having a big, very high point scoring objective in the middle of the map kind of obscured with a impassable terrain feature really slows down gameplay and can make it really lopsided and hard to fight over this really crucial objective. And I think it's a lot more interesting when you can get much more push and shove over the hill, which the terrain feature kind of prevents you from getting to do. But I think we're gonna see a lot of different lists. I'm thinking as people realize they need more high unit strength core units to score these objectives, which you can score up to like 2,000 points in a game. They're gonna think, all right, maybe I don't take 2 dragons because sure that dragon can kill a lot of things, but it's not going to score me victory points, other than kill points. But I don't know. I think
it's a hard choice now. And like dragons and one character, single model characters on a dragon or whatever are still super strong in this game. But there's a little bit of reluctance now, as you said, to fielding core, rank and flank, 10 unit strength units to go score objectives. I'm of the opinion that the single models are still too good and too strong to take, that you need. But that's the whole discussion right now. We're kind of figuring it out. And I think player comp will come in a little bit down the line and will make it even better. But it's still kind of, it's really crazy right now. It's out of whack. But, it is what it is.
Yeah, I'll be really interested to see what kind of like some of the other big tournaments come up with this year. And I think we're still very much, I don't know if there's been a bigger tournament since before Nova that has used the new comp. So I think this was a really good learning experience for the whole community to kind of see what you need to take to play in this new version of the game. I agree. I've
been talking with the TO for the Las Vegas Open in October, and he said exactly that. He's waiting for the feedback from Nova before to make his decision. Maybe, I don't know. Is it too early for him to apply player comp? I don't know. I don't know the right answer. But what's your next tournament?
Nothing signed up yet. Really just hoping to get got a couple more 3K lists I really want to try out with some variations on things. And I've got I go to Fallen, which is a HMGS convention up in Lancaster that I'm trying to get some old world casual games going, just even play around.
For fun,
try out some more unconventional lists with the match play guidelines. I think that could be fun. Yeah.
Sweet. That's exciting. Thank you again for joining me, Hayden, and I'll see you the next time. I'm definitely coming back to Nova next year. Every year I go to Nova, I have such a great time. Oh, man.
Yeah, no, it's a no-brainer for me to go every year nowadays.
All right. I'll see you next time, Hayden, and have a good night.